Hello, everybody. Today I want to go through an assignment that we're going to do together. And in this assignment, what you are going to do is you're going to take notes without using words, except maybe to write someone's name. You could write a particular person's name. Past that, you are going to draw pictures. You could do symbols like, you could have a traffic light that's red for stop or green for go as an example. But you're going to take notes without using words. And the notes that you're going to take is on a story called the Iliad. The Iliad was written by Homer, just like the Odyssey was. And we're actually going to be reading excerpts of the Odyssey, but in order to understand the Odyssey, it would really help for you to know what the Iliad was about. And the Iliad was about something called the Trojan War. So the way this is going to work, normally in class, I would walk around the class. I will say a sentence or two, and then I would pause and I would give you time to draw. And I'd be able to look over your shoulders and kind of see and know when to tell you the next thing. Obviously, I can't do that. So I am going to read a sentence or two, a little section, emphasizing some things, and then I'm going to pause. I'm probably in my head going to count like maybe to 5 or 10, something like that, and then I'll continue. What you need to do is, as you watch this video and I hit a point that I pause, you should stop the video and then do your drawing. Now, keep in mind, you are going to be submitting this in a digital form, so you can hand draw, in which case then, like we would do in class, hand draw. And then you can use the camera on your phone or your Chromebook, and you can take a picture of that, and you can then upload your picture and put it into your assignment. Or you can draw digitally. It just means that in the slide, you'll need to go find pictures. So you'll have to pause the video and go get your pictures and then insert it. Keep in mind, the goal of this is that at the end of it, you could look at your pictures and be able to tell me the story back. So that if I sent a note to any of you and said, I need you to tell me your story, and then have you record it, you would be able to do that. Okay. So take your time, pause, get what you need to, repeat, replay as often as you need to. All right. Okay, so we're going to get started. This is the Iliad, and you're going to take notes without using words. So to open up, according to legend, the chain of events that led to the Trojan War started at a royal wedding. Many gods and goddesses attended this wedding. So right now, you need to draw something that would let you know that it was a wedding and many gods and goddesses were attending it. So at this royal wedding, where many gods and goddesses attended, there was one particular goddess. Her name is Eris. She's a daughter of Zeus, and she was a goddess of discord. Discord means like being unhappy or stirring up trouble, right? So this daughter of Zeus and the goddess of discord was not invited to the wedding because they were afraid she would inevitably cause trouble. Eris was angry, so she decided she was going to crash the wedding banquet by throwing down a golden apple inscribed with the words, "For the fairest." The goddess Hera, the queen goddess, Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, and Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, were all at this wedding, and each one believed she was the fairest. After fighting a while, they asked Zeus to decide who deserved the apple. Okay. Continuing now with our story, you should have drawn several pictures at this point. Zeus was not about to settle a matter between three goddesses, especially these ones. So he did what any god would do. He gave the job to an expendable mortal, someone he didn't care whatever happened to him. And that person's name was Paris. Now, Paris was known for his honesty because his job was to judge cattle. The goddesses each tried to bribe Paris. Hera offered to make him king of all Europe and Asia. Athena offered him victory in battle between Troy and the Greeks. And Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman in the world. All right, picking up with our story. Hopefully you have pictures to let us know about the wedding and Eris and the three goddesses with the apple and the Paris who's having to make this decision and the offers that he was giving. Now, Paris decided to award the apple to Aphrodite. And she sent him to Sparta, which is in Greece, to collect his prize. Now remember, she was going to give him the most beautiful woman in the world. Unfortunately, this woman happened to already be married. Her name was Helen, and she was married to Menelaus, who's the king of Sparta, and brother of Agamemnon, who was kind of like king over most of Greece at the time. When Paris arrived, both Helen and Menelaus welcomed him with open arms. Paris stays for a while because at that time, obviously, when you traveled a long ways and usually stayed for a long time. And in the Greek culture, it was very important to show hospitality to people because of the length of times and travels and journeys. And it was part of their culture that you did that. Now, Paris is there. And of course, King Menelaus is going to do his normal jobs. And so during one of the times, Menelaus had to be gone, taking care of business for the kingdom. Paris wooed Helen and convinced her to run away with him. And so the two eloped. Continuing our story, when Menelaus returned, he was outraged. He was so angry. So he organized an extraction team to go get her. And in this case, his extraction team is the entire Greek army. Now, for many, many chapters in our book, of the Iliad, you have all the things that happened during this war that then takes place. King Menelaus comes with his brother, King Agamemnon, and the other different kings of small, different city-states in the area, and they come and they proceed to go to war against Troy, which is where Paris had taken Helen. This is called the Trojan War, and this war lasted for 10 years. And there's many things that happen. There's many famous people that are in that, but we're going to pick up here. So this war lasts for 10 years. And it ends with the most famous event, the alleged peace offering of the Trojan horse. Now, for the Trojan horse, this is where the Greeks built this elaborate, gigantic wooden horse. And they hid some of their soldiers inside. And then they all the rest of the Greeks got onto their ships, and it looked like they sailed away. So they were gone, and this horse, this giant wooden horse, is sitting outside the gates. And of course, the Trojans didn't realize that there were soldiers inside. And they were so excited that, the Greeks had left. So they opened the gate and they pulled in this big wooden horse, and then they proceed to have a giant party. That night, with the horse inside and everyone partying, and then they all went to sleep, the horse opens up, and hundreds of Greek soldiers exit the horse, and they immediately attack and plunder the city. They open the gates, and the Greeks who had sailed off had actually just gone down the coast, unlanded, had landed, and then had circled back, and they were back there waiting to come in. And they tore the city apart, and they set it ablaze. Now, Odysseus, the hero of the book, The Odyssey, that we're going to read about, is in this particular story, the Iliad. In fact, he is the one who got the idea to build the wooden horse. So he's the one that let the Greeks into the city, and he ended the siege from the war. And he was also inside the horse. So he slipped out, and then he went through the city, and he goes and he rescues Helen. He takes Helen and returns her to Menelaus. And he creates this story to tell Menelaus that Helen didn't really fall in love with Paris, but instead she had gone with him so that she could go to the city and she could steal back a statue that used to belong to them. And that was the whole reason she was there, to steal back this famous Greek statue. And that was that she didn't really run away, and that she was loyal to Menelaus. And that gave him reasons to take her back instead of killing her because she had run away. Now, the last section of our story is where everybody is going to get on their ships. So Odysseus gets back on his ships with his men, his army. He has a small army with him. Menelaus with Helen is on her ship. King Agamemnon, all the others, they're all getting on the ships and they're heading back to their homelands. And this is where the Odyssey starts. The Odyssey starts with Odysseus leaving by boat from Troy with the intention of going back home to his home, which is an island that is called Ithaca. And that's where we will pick up with the Odyssey. And that ends our story of the Iliad. So, having heard our story, you now need to look over the pictures that you have created. If you need to, go back and re-listen and add in a few other pictures if you need, to make sure you understand the story from the beginning. The reason why we have the whole royal wedding and the gods and goddesses and the apple, all the way to Odysseus and his plan on how to trick the Trojans with the horse, and the rescuing of Helen, and the ending of the Trojan War. So make sure that you have drawn enough so that you would be able to tell the story from that. And then again, this drawing needs to be put into the Google slide that is in this assignment, okay? If it's very long and it won't fit into one, break it into pieces and actually just go up to insert and put new slide and add 2 or 3 slides, and then you could put it into several slides if you would like to. And tell me back the story of the Iliad. All right. Look forward to seeing some of you online and look forward to seeing others in class. Have a great Labor Day, guys. I don't know if you've ended or not.